So it's still recording, but okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. And welcome to the show, Chris. Good morning, good evening. I keep forgetting what time of day it is, but a very warm welcome to the show, Chris. And how are you keeping?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me on your show. Been watching your channel for some time now, so I almost feel like I know you.
Easy now. Best not tell the girlfriend about that. But anyway, yes. So you're one of my many stalkers. But no, joking aside, is that you're a very talented runner yourself, and you have your own YouTube channel as well. Do you want to tell people how they can find you? What's your YouTube channel called?
It's called That Running Guy.
Running Guy.
That Running Guy. It was just a name that we kind of come up with. It was either that or the Running Man. We were just coming to come up with different names. You know what would work. But as I say, the YouTube didn't start off as a running channel.
No,
it was a car channel.
A car channel. So how did you go from cars to running?
Well, the car one, if I just scroll back, was Festival of Speed, taking pictures of cars. And then it got into kind of car fixing, and I only changed it over to a running channel probably about 40 days ago. Yeah. And
but I noticed you've come in with a big impact because you're straight in. I know you make a lot of emphasis about your age.
Yeah.
Whilst you're considerably younger than me, you're still not a spring chicken, if I can be polite. Yeah. So you're a little over 30. But people can go to your channel to see what age you are and all that type of stuff. But you are banging in, if I can use the right phrase, some seriously fast times. You've been doing 1K time trials, 1 mile time trials, 5Ks, 10Ks. I mean, I loved that one where you were doing the 1K and you were following a cyclist with a camera. Yeah, that looked like proper professional. That almost looked like watching a car, like a car review show, and the camera's following a car, but it's you running like the speed of light.
That was because I only bought the GoPro Hero Black 7.
Yeah.
I'd only bought it when I first started my first video.
Yeah.
And then I bought one of these packs off eBay, nice and cheap, that comes with all the attachments.
Yeah.
And that was the first time we actually used it.
But you have a professional camera person with you, or is that your wife?
That's just my wife on the bike, and literally she went way too fast. I was struggling to keep up.
Is that why you got that PB?
We're just trying to keep up with her the best I could. She was miles and miles ahead.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure where the finish was going to be because I didn't actually measure it out beforehand. At the start, admittedly, it was slightly downhill at the start, but it's just trying to find somewhere that's a course that she can ride video and I can run without getting run over.
Yeah. So
that works
in
well.
a way, you're and I've used the word, some people saying about thriving in lockdown. We couldn't really do those time trials that we've been doing if the roads were full of cars and traffic as normal. So in a way,
it's a kind of industrial
area,
with a kind of barrier and businesses and stuff. So it was quite quiet. Has a few speeds and stuff like that. So it was just a place to go that was safe.
Yeah.
But I have run on the road quite a bit since lockdown.
Excellent. But I was going to say, Chris, I mean, whilst you've only recently, it's great talking about your YouTube channel, but I'd highly recommend for people to go over to Chris's channel, say That Running Guy, and there's some top videos, much more professional than my stuff, because I don't have a wife on a bike or whatever to follow, but it's just me. And I just hold the camera like that. There you go.
Yeah, I tried out my first video.
Yes, but Chris, tell us more about. Let's go through your running career. And I have read that you've sort of kick-started, but you were a runner in your youth. Is that right?
Yes.
And take us back to the beginning. How you got into running?
Okay, we got into running because my dad was a runner. He used to run for a club called Verley back in Hertfordshire. He was a 78 half marathon.
Wow.
And I got entered into the QE2 fun run when I was 10.
Right.
Entered into that and I won it.
The QE fun run. What was that?
It was a QE2 fun run.
Oh, QE2.
Yeah, the QE2 fun run, and I was entered into that, and I won it. And so, obviously, as a kid, you're kind of like, oh.
How old were you then?
10.
10. So a 10-year-old, you won your first race.
Yeah, so I think it was about a mile. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
And then
it felt like a mile.
It felt like a mile. I don't know who knows how far it was. So and I've got a twin sister as well. We both started running at a similar sort of time.
Yeah.
Then obviously running progressed through school. District champion, blah blah.
Yeah.
My sister ran as well. I think at one point she was number 2 in England for 800 meters.
Wow.
So
Is that at school's age? Was that school?
She was 13, so she was number 2. And we both entered into this thing called the Marshall's Mob Race.
Yeah.
And we both won that. So it was in the paper, twins winning.
Twin powers. I've got to give a quick shout out. One of my regular viewers, and he's watching this right now. I know he's watching this because he's going to leave a comment. Cole, you might have seen my run with him up near Leeds. He's one of a twin as well. Him and his brother race together, run together, and they call it twin power. So how serendipitous, Chris, that you have a twin sister and you both run as well. But please continue, Chris. Please.
Yeah, yes. So my sister used to train really, really hard. I didn't. I was track twice a week.
You were the lazy guy.
I was a lazy guy that just.
But you still had talent.
I just relied on the talent. My sister used to beat Paula Radcliffe in the cross countries. So that's her claim to
next
fame.
time I see Paula, I'll have to mention that to her.
Yeah, well, that's her claim to fame. Every time I see her or mention running.
Yeah. Does your sister still run?
No, she gave up ages ago.
Man. Anyway, so.
Yes, I joined a club called Verley. Trained with them. Mainly run 800 and 1500 meters.
Yeah.
Run up until I was about 17, 18, until work, drinking, and then gave up, and basically gave up. But in that time, I run 800 in 1:59.
Good grief.
4:07 for 1500, and become the school Southern County cross country champion.
Wow. So a good athlete.
Then I gave up. So it's
like... Why? Did your dad not slap your wrist? I mean, if he was a runner, could he not see the potential?
I think the club was gutted because obviously I was up and coming, athlete, and competition was a lot stronger back then.
Yeah.
Doing the 800s and the 15s, I wasn't winning.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I presume I'd win most of the races for my age. 15, 16. So. I don't know. It was also confidence as well back then, because I was confident that I would, every time I run in the English schools, wouldn't run very well, but the week before I'd beat the guy that finished 8th in England. So I think it was a confidence thing back then.
Yeah.
And then I didn't start running until I was 43.
Wow. 45. So there's a bit of a hiatus there.
Yes.
So from 17 to 43.
Yes, it's sitting on the sofa watching some sort of European. I think it was, I don't know, some sort of European championship. I can't remember what it was. And I sat there and I thought to myself, why am I not running?
Yeah.
I entered into the Weybridge 10K that evening. And then the next day we went to the shops to buy some trainers so I can go out for a run. I had no idea of, I wanted a whole black outfit. That was the way to go. and
the Dark Destroyer.
Yeah, so I bought some trainers, price driven, bought some Carrymores. I'm not going to say.
Do you know what, Chris? Don't knock them. Those were my first running shoes as well, because that's what I used to walk in.
Yeah, they're okay for walking.
They're good enough for walking in. They're good enough for running in.
They were 30 quid. My first run.
For that much? I got some for 20, mate.
Yeah, no, but black on black.
All right, trendy, yeah.
And so I went out for a 4-mile run. Thinking that I'm still this, spring chicken, went off like a gazelle, and then I think I ended up blowing up running 9-minute mile.
Wow, you blew up on a 10K?
No, not a 10K, on 4 miles.
4 miles?
It was only a 4-mile run, literally my first run in, 25 years.
Oh, okay, so you didn't train at all for this?
No, I didn't train.
And ran.
I'm going out, and, in my mind, I'm still this kind of, this athlete.
You felt like a gazelle when you were 17.
Yeah, I've still got it. I don't lose it. I just cut myself deep end. 4 miles, terrible. Yeah. And then I stuck with that for about a year, kind of just training on my own. before joining the club, and then got down to about 7-minute miling for 4 miles.
Yeah.
But then kind of got a bit stagnant, so I wasn't improving. But I was at that stage, you know, when you kind of start running, that you want to go out and you want to smash your PB every time.
Yeah.
Picking up a few niggles, like my calf was tightening up, so I went into a sports shop and got some proper shoes.
Sleeves. Okay.
And I got into New Balance.
Right.
The New Balance, I think he sold me some 1080 V7s at the time.
Yeah.
You know, on the treadmill, doing the gait, all the analysis.
Yeah.
Which I was happy to pay more money then, because later on I would buy them online, get them cheaper.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of paying for the service. Run with them, then joined the club, which is Woking AC. Training on the track in them. But they were a bit heavy because they're quite a heavy shoe.
Yeah.
So then I went down the Zante route.
All right, yeah. Another New Balance.
Yeah, nice orange pair. And then just kind of kept on adding to my New Balance collection, because I think that once you get a brand, you stick with it. If it works, why bother? But I kept on picking up Achilles injuries.
Really?
My first major one was on a park run. So I was running behind an England women's triathlete, I believe, and we were coming down to the home finish, and I thought to myself, I'm going to take her. So I went past her, and then I thought, I've got another gear. No, I didn't.
No,
I did. My Achilles literally just shut down. At the time, I thought I'd pull my calf. No, I'd never had an injury before that. You know, I was bulletproof. So I hobbled to my daughter's, I think it was her birthday party that day, hobbled in around. That took, I think, about 6 weeks that took to heal.
Yeah.
And then started again. So you start again, you know, off we go again, 3 months.
Yeah.
It's when again. Another 6 weeks off. Then it would kind of be a pattern of I would do 3 months, 3-4 months, and then my Achilles, my Achilles 3 times, the same Achilles. And then I worked out it was my trainers.
Wow.
I changed to Nike and never had the problem since.
Wow.
It was I believe it was to do with the drop. New Balance are typically a 6mm drop. Nikes are a 10. So that small difference, I think, had made.
It's interesting you should say that. We'll go a little bit into the shoes, but for those who are watching, listening, we're going to do a full detailed shoe type talk with Chris on the Running Shoe channel. If you follow that link up there, and you'll see the full talk with Chris. But you mentioned about the drop and the Achilles heel. A lot of people who are watching this may not understand how that impacts, because I've ran in 0 drop shoes, Ultra, and it has a guide in there that when you're transitioning from having, say, even a 4mm drop, it doesn't sound much, but Ultra are very conscious that when you go down to what they call natural move, is that it puts strain on the calf and the Achilles, and that you should gradually progress to that. And so they come with instructions. But obviously, how did you find out that it was the actual shoe that was causing it? Was it someone at your club, or
it was because you go on?
Was it a eureka moment?
Yeah, well, you kind of
you were watching one of my YouTube videos.
You literally go on YouTube and you search the internet, and you're kind of thinking, okay, so calf raises. So you eventually get your physio at the hospital that takes 3 months, but by that time you've fixed yourself anyway.
Tell me about it. I've been there. Yeah.
So you go there, you do your heel raises on the stairs, carry on doing them, and you kind of fix it. But then I was watching, other people had Nikes, and a lot of people were raving about, the turbos or the Turbo 2s. That shoe. So I was in America, and it was my birthday, and the missus said, "What do you want?" It was in that American, it's like discount area. I can't remember what it's called.
Where in America? What town, city?
We were driving all over the place.
So you were on a fly drive type thing.
I think it was called Camarillo, or I can't remember what it's called. It's like a discount centre.
Okay, yeah.
Had these turbos. They were nice.
Nice. Those are the Pegasus Turbo, are they?
Pegasus 35 Turbo, 90 quid. And as soon as I tried them on, it was like they're so much more comfortable than the New Balance. A lot of the New Balance shoes were I don't know, the kind of midfoot. There was nothing to it. But with Nikes, I don't know, they just feel like running on cushions. And
yeah. Well, the key thing, and we'll talk more about this on the shoe channel, is that everybody's foot is different, and some brands, because there'll be people watching this who will be swearing by New Balance, and I have a pair of New Balance, and I've done over 1,000 kilometers in them. But compared to the Ultra, compared to Saucony and Nike, it's very different. But some people's feet can adapt and rotation. But as you say, it's your feet are obviously more. And when I was speaking with another guy earlier this week, Carl Wellborn, he swears by Nike as well. So some people's feet, whereas I've tried some Nikes on and they just don't work for me at all.
Yeah, no, I've tried the 35s on, not the turbos, and they just felt flat, no protection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, I want the cushioning. I'm getting older. I want the protection.
Yes.
And the only other shoe, I know we're not.
Go on
the Beacon.
So right, yeah.
600 miles out of this, and you can see obviously it's starting to wear here. But I've got 600 miles at the Beacon, and that's the nearest I would say to Nike. Yeah. Because obviously, you know, I know it's still got a different drop, but cushion wise.
Yeah. So you found that the Nike works for you. So you've got over your Achilles issue. So you're clearly competitive and giving it your all. Yeah. So now you're getting back into the flow.
Yes.
No injuries.
So no injuries, and then I got these as a bargain, right? So these are I love the look of these.
Oh yes, yeah.
These are Fuel Cell Impulse. I got these for £26 off of I think Pro Sports Direct.
26 quid.
26 quid because they're size 12 and a half. Because I'm a size up in
you're a tall guy then.
And I'm 6'1". It's got massive feet.
Oh, okay.
Massive big toe.
Right. Okay.
So I went out for a run in those because I thought, you know, my Achilles is fine. I injured my Achilles again wearing them once.
Oof.
So there is 100%. There's an issue between. Yeah. Luckily, I was only out for 2 weeks, so that means beginning of December January, I was just getting over that injury.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have run in the cross country, but I did. I run quite well on it. But my Achilles was okay, but it just took a little bit longer to start again. So I probably got back into training kind of March time.
March of this year.
Yeah, it might be February, March, and I entered myself into a half marathon.
What, a half marathon time trial or a half marathon race?
So maybe it was February. So it was just before the lockdown. So would that be February time?
Yeah, around February. Yeah, or beginning of March. Yeah. Which one was that?
It was a Surrey half marathon.
Oh yes, yeah. So and how did you do in that one?
Well, so I worked out all my times because you know, I worked out what pace I should be running at.
Yeah.
It said it was a flat course. It said it was a flat course.
It's not.
No. So I worked out that I should be able to run at 6:40 pace, and I should be able to finish in 1:27, 1:28.
Okay.
So I went off at 6:40 pace, you know, on the dot. First 5 miles, and then it started to get, you know, a bit undulating.
Yeah.
And I held it until probably between 8 and 9 miles when it had a double back of 1.5 miles.
Oh,
so soul destroying when you see the people coming.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
It had
up and then down. Yeah.
You know, it wasn't it wasn't a hill, but it was just an incline that went on and went on, and I blew up basically. So. Yeah. I think my times dropped to 7:15 then, and at one point I stopped and walked for about 30 seconds because I found myself, you know, that kind of swaying.
Yeah.
Getting tingly, so I was listening to my body, and I thought, and then about a mile to go, the 1:30 come running past me.
Oh.
And so my first half marathon, I finished at 1:30:01.
Ooh.
1 second out, 1 second, and if I'd have paced it correctly, I would have been a 1:29.
Yeah.
And so after I did that race, I literally had been watching the Forrester Dean runner.
Yeah. Andy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd seen that he'd upped his mileage. So he'd gone from 40 miles and he'd upped it to 50, you know, consistent miles. And I thought, so I'm going to do that. So basically, so at the time I had a on a Gumtree there was a voucher to get your vitamin tests and food intolerance.
Right.
So I did that. It came back I was low in magnesium. So as I had the magnesium for 2 weeks, I was able to go from 30 miles to 50-mile weeks straight away with no injuries, nothing at all. So because I found in my training, my breathing was fine because I've done heart rate training before. So I was ticking over at, 130s, 135s at 720 pace. But my legs were heavy and, they weren't recovering. But the magnesium is obviously what was missing. So my legs weren't recovering. They were, it's all to do with, what is it, the building blocks and... They're all key, but the B12. I'm vegetarian, so I need to make sure I'm on top of my B12 and iron and all those things. Okay. And so 50-mile weeks from then would work on kind of 3 weeks at 50, then a 40, 3 weeks at 50, then 40, and probably done about 14 weeks on and off of kind of 50s and I'll drop a 40 in there.
Yeah.
And and just lower the intensity slightly and actually listen to people for a change.
Yeah.
Rather than going out and trying to smash everything. Yeah, you look at probably most times on Strava and I'm running at 7:15 to 7:40, but my heart rate's only 135, 132. So I'm just ticking over.
Yeah. So it's clearly in zone 1, isn't it?
It's difficult on the watches to, on your Garmin, it's probably 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5. Yeah, but I just concentrate on that kind of long, shallow breath and trying to get my heart down. And some days you might be running faster than others.
Yes.
But it's the way it is. And so after I did the 50-mile weeks with the no speed work, which we mentioned this before. No speed work in 7 months. In training I run a 128.5 on my own. So I run at 6:45 pace, kept with it. And then obviously going to my 5k time trial, my one, I knocked 36 seconds off my 5k PB. That's a sub 18. There's no speed work. You'd think that if you haven't got speed work, then
I tell you, Chris, the penny's beginning to drop, isn't it? It's penny's beginning to drop. It's all about slow running.
Yeah, well, I think what I missed was the endurance.
Yeah.
I've obviously got speed in my legs, which I've kept from when I was a young. I'm never going to run a 159 again. But obviously, I need to up my distance, and with the kind of the lower intensity, kind of consistent weeks, I found that's worked better. I do believe if I add some speed work into it and I do my endurance session at the track once a week, then I probably could get quicker.
Yeah.
I think
what is your typical training? Because if we go through, can we quickly go through your PB times? In order of say 1k, 1 mile, 5k, 10k, half marathon. What are your times so people have an idea of your speeds at the moment, and then we can talk about your weekly training plan?
We have to give a guesstimate on the 1 mile. I haven't actually got PBs. So the 1k 3:03. It was slightly downhill, but I think on a track I'd be around that sort of kind of mark. 1 mile. The other day I ran a 5:22 on my own in the turbo, so I think I'm probably good in a race, probably for a 5:10. 2k last year in December on the track I ran a 6:56. And then 5k 17:57, which I ran the other day, which was a measured course because 4 of us all run it. And we all come up with the same distance.
I enjoyed that video,
Apart from I had to run further past them because their watches come up shorter than mine.
Good old GPS.
So at least I know it was a correct.
And you had the GoPro on your head as well, so that slows you down.
Yeah, GoPro on the head, trying to talk the best I could while I was doing it. A couple of swear words come out when I was doing it. Because for me, the 5k is probably one of the toughest. You get to that mile 2 and then them kind of negative thoughts are appearing in your head like, I could just stop now, I can't do this. But we all know once you get to the last mile, you can just hang on. But I do use a watch. I am constantly looking at my watch to kind of get that pace going. What other ones we got? So 10k, I've only done one in training, so that was 39.5, but I think it'd be good for a low 38. at the moment, and then half marathon. I think in a race probably 1:27, maybe 1:6.
So some incredibly quick times, but as a lot of people say, time is just relative.
Yeah.
It's just to give a perspective of what times you are running. So when we go through now, your typical weekly training plan, you say it's between 40 and 50 miles. So what's your typical day? So if we go through, say, from Monday through to Sunday, what's your typical training week? And at the moment, it is just easy miles, yeah?
I work on a kind of 80-20 or 90-10. So 80 to 90% easier.
Yeah.
And then obviously I might throw in that time trial or a slightly quicker run. And what I tend to do is 50 miles. Once you start doing 50 miles and you've been doing it for some time, it's not difficult.
Yeah.
It's just time. So I spread that as much as I can evenly, or I might do a 10 and 8, 10, 8, and then what I've left on.
Yeah.
And I do it over 6 days.
Okay.
And I've got no specific plan there. It is literally to go out, go for a run on that day. I might run between 7:15 and 7:45, depending on how I feel. And then I'll do one faster session.
Right.
But then this week I've dropped to 40 miles because I've done the time trial on Saturday.
Yeah.
And as you get older, unfortunately, you need to let yourself recover.
Yes. Yeah. So I was going to say, so every week you have how many rest days? Do you have 1 rest day or 2 rest days?
Normally 1.
Okay.
So before the time trial, I tapered that week. But before that, I think I did a month of 50s with 1 day off. Mm-hmm. So, it literally would be start on Monday, finish on Saturday.
Right. And then Sunday's your day off.
So I find that for me, that putting it all together makes me stronger rather than have a day off in the middle.
Yeah.
And where I am, it isn't the most. I live in Surrey. It isn't the most hilliest place, but it is, pretty undulated.
There is hills, yeah.
And I tend to run, I would say probably about 30 or 40% off-road as well.
Right. But you say you tend to run on how you feel and how you're breathing, so you're not religiously looking at your watch every. No. Because I see people when I'm out and running, and you probably see it as well. I mean, here in London, it's pretty crowded, even with the social distancing, and everyone's just looking at their watch, and you're thinking, can you stop looking at your watch and just breathe? Actually, if you're out of breath.
If you're doing a time trial on your own, then you need to dial in your pace. So, to run a fast 5K, I didn't do it the right way. First mile 5:35, 5:47 or so, and then 5:55. That's not the way to run a 5K. Even splits the way to do it.
Yeah.
So next time I do it, I'll do a 5:45, 5:45, 5:45, and I'll probably come out with a quicker time.
Yes.
So it's important then to look at your watch. But today I went out on I think a 9 miler. Started off at 7:47, and then ended up. You just run along. You look at your watch. You run at 6:30 pace, and I'm like, okay, well I'll do this for 5K. Yeah. And that was my little bit of speed for the week, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it does depend on how you feel.
Absolutely. So would you say you've learned of having had such the Achilles injuries aren't nice, or any injury is not nice, but would you say you've probably learnt the hard way, but you've come through the light at the end of the tunnel, and now you've learnt that doing easy runs actually brings the speed, and it develops. I think Carl Wellborn, who I had on the previous show, he mentioned about even the Kenyans. A lot of people don't understand. Whilst these Kenyans run 2 hours, obviously, Kipchoge runs sub 2, but I've been in races, and the Kenyans that win are still winning in 2 hours and 3 minutes, 2 hours and 6 minutes, 2 hours and 8 minutes. They're running sub 2:10s, but when they go easy, they run 9-minute miles. Which to a lot of people will sound, well, that's ridiculously slow. Yes, that's right. It is ridiculously slow. So you say you're doing 80-20, 90-10. I know I keep going back to Cole, the other twin. He does 100% zero. All his runs are slow, but he still runs around 3-hour marathons. Yeah. Which for a guy in his 40s, he's really happy. But he runs like every week as a marathon.
Yeah, I think it depends on your body. Like I struggle to run slower than 8-minute miling. I don't know. Mechanically, my body just doesn't.
I know what you mean. I'm the same as well. Yeah.
On a slow run, a 7:45-ish, is about as slow as I want to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've tried adapting my style to have less of a kind of knee lift and more kind of, you know, quicker turnover.
More of a shuffle, quicker cadence.
It's sometimes when I'm running, I'm thinking, you know, maybe I need to run more like a Jakob Ingebrigtsen.
And he's the one who's got a recent 5K world record, isn't it?
Or you look at like Ben Parks when he runs. They look so simple when they run, but they're not really lifting up their knees, are they? They're just kind of, and it does work. You know, yes. If I'm doing a sprint, I'll lift my knees up because it's losing energy. And my arm swings I don't swing my arms very fast. You know, I keep it all nice and slow and try and keep it as relaxed as possible. So, I have learned. It's taken a long time for me to listen to people and kind of, you know, they say, oh, you're running too fast. They'll probably say that I'm running too fast at the moment, but that's what works for me. I've been doing it for 14 weeks. I've not been injured. I'm not tired. I keep on top of my hydration. You know, take my vitamins. I eat a lot of cereal.
But you mentioned magnesium. I mean, some people have mentioned magnesium to me. So obviously
to get a test of some sort. So mine come back and it was an intolerance test, and it showed me, you know, I'm alert. I've got an intolerance to bananas. Blah 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 blah. But it showed that magnesium level was really low, and literally within 2 weeks, I'd gone from 30 to 50 miles with no injuries or anything, and my legs don't ache. You know. I actually feel worse if I take 2 days off. Yeah.
And for those watching, please don't go out there and buy shed loads of magnesium and start taking it. Please go and speak to a professional and medical practitioner. And as Chris has already said, he did have a medical test to show that he was low on that. So that's why he was taking it. So don't think it's a magic pill, because there are lots of people who watch videos and expect a magic bullet. What would you say is the magic bullet, Chris, to running fast like yourself?
I tried the different things that I heard of, the beetroots.
Okay, I haven't tried that. I know that's a load of BS. Anyway, go on.
One that does work, which obviously, you know, I'm not a medical profession, is bicarbonate soda.
All right.
Heard about this one. Right. So on track workouts or faster workouts, I had take a quarter of a teaspoon of bicarbonate soda and mix it in with just water or a juice to make it taste better, and I'd take that 30 minutes before, and that fights off the lactic acid.
Does it now? Oh,
right.
Okay.
Athletes used to do it on 800-meter runners and stuff before. But if you take too much, then you will need the loo.
It will go the other way. Yes, I have heard of that. But the magic bullet, Chris, is the training, which was what you do. Yes, that's the consistent and persistent training. So
it's consistency. If you're consistent with it, the mileage, do it week in, week out. Don't be stupid. You know, train within your capabilities. You know, when I went to the track when I first started, the 13-year-olds beating me, and now I know that when I go to track, I don't run anything under 400 meters. But I will pull a muscle, guaranteed. So many times, you know, I've been there. My thighs give away, or my hamstrings tighten up a little bit. So I think as you get older, what's more important is, you know, your food, your nutrition, your trainers, you know, listening to your body, and because all that stuff when you're younger, you're bulletproof. You can do what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And you bring it all together, and we get what we get now, which is brilliant. So, what's your plans going forward, Chris? What does the future hold for you? Obviously, here in the UK, lockdown is beginning to ease. What's are you going to continue doing the same training? You got any races planned, if there are any races?
Well, I did enter into a 10K, which was the States 10K. That's supposed to be, I think, November now, whether that happened or not. And then we're into the cross-country season, which for me, cross-country season is where it's at for me.
All right. So you see yourself more as a, enjoy your cross-country.
The teenager, I was Southern Counties cross-country champion. So out of the, you know, all the stuff I did, that was where I had the most success.
So
I don't know if
it's... Are you looking to repeat that success for your age group then?
Well, I'm looking to get an England vest like yourself.
I can tell you, Chris, the determination I've having seen on your channel, I have every faith in you getting an England vest. And it would be, at what distance are you going to go for England vest, or what race type?
I can't see it happening for the next probably 5 years. I think it'll be a V50 or V55. So
are you targeting a race distance?
I think anywhere from it's got to be, I don't know, 10K to half marathon, around that sort of place.
Yeah.
I would say I've obviously got the speed in my legs. I don't know if I've got the endurance, but then again, I've never run further than 15 miles. So
wow,
never know. Marathon for me, I don't know.
You never know until you try. I mean, Carl, who came on his first half marathon, he went out and won it, and now he runs 2:23 marathons, and he's looking to get into the senior team full. He wins his age category without any problem at all, but wants to get into the seniors. But obviously, he's competing against guys who are younger than him. But I think if you're following, continuing with your strategy, and you mentioned the 80-20, and I always have my Bible next to me. So I've not paid Chris to say this, but here's my 80-20 training book. That's the triathlon one, but
it works.
It works, doesn't it?
People contact me saying, what training should I do? And I say, that's it. You know, a basic 80-20, if you want the most basic, then, you know, I suppose you could say you should do one speed session a week, one long run, and the rest easy. That's it.
Yeah. And for a beginner, I think for a beginner, you can just do easy stuff all the time. It's only when you start honing in, like yourself, you know, honing in a particular time and getting quicker, that you can bring in some speed stuff. But sounds brilliant, Chris. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. No doubt we'll probably get you back on the show here.
Yeah, no, I'd love to come.
Talking about how you've been progressing. And as I mentioned, for those who want to see Chris's chat in detail of all his lovely shoes and how he gets all these amazing discounts, then click on the link above. But thank you so much for your time, Chris. Hope you enjoyed this.
No, I've enjoyed it. My favourite subject, talking about me.
Hey!
I've got no one else to talk about it.
I've got to say, it is quite... I find it quite inspirational seeing your videos and seeing the times that you do and following through on the training. And it's great filming, and a credit to your wife as well with some of that photography skill. And some people say, oh, it's often, you know, when we run around with this, it is a skill taking some good shots. Even if the camera is stuck to your head, it's still a skill. And I'm sure everyone appreciates watching your videos. And thanks so much for your time. And we'll see you very soon. So thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you.